Hello everyone, welcome to this video. I am Palaj Dumre and today we'll be talking about debounce and distinct until change operators of the Kotlin flow. So let's get started. We'll first look at the normal console programming. We'll look what is debounce and distinct until change operator is. So let's start with debounce operator. Debounce operator returns a original flow but filter out values that are followed by the newer values within the given timeout. So let's see what does that mean. We'll just first create a flow. Let's emit some values like say A. We'll emit another value say B, and we'll apply a debounce operator here. Let's say we have 1000 millisecond, and then we need to collect, and then we'll just print the values that are collected. So let's see what happens here. We have run the code. So as you can see, it returned B. So B was the newest value that was emitted by this flow. But what if we wanted this A to be printed, and why only this B got printed? This was just because after emitting value A, it doesn't wait for this 1000 millisecond. 1000 millisecond is a very big value here. So let's say if I put 20 millisecond here, still it will not print B A here, it will just print B, because after emission of A, it waited only for 20 millisecond, which is very less than this 1000 millisecond. So before this 1000 millisecond happens, B was emitted, so that's why the newer value of B is collected here. So let's put 1000 milliseconds here and see what happens. So yes, you can see both the values got printed here. This is just because it emitted value A, and then after 1000 millisecond new value was emitted B. That's why it first collected A, then waited for 1000 millisecond, and then the new value of B was emitted. Hence both values get collected here. So this was the debounce operator. Now let's look at what distinct until changed operator is. So we'll just create a flow. We'll emit a value, let's say A, and then let's emit value B, and then we'll apply distinct until changed operator, and then we'll collect it. We can print the collected value here. Let's comment this out for now, and then let's try out this code. So what this distinct until changed operator does is it just emit all the distinct values that gets emitted. So here you can see both the values A and B are distinct, so it emitted both the values here and it got collected. Let's say a new value got emitted which is not distinct, it's just same as the previously emitted value. So let's see what happens here. So yes, you can see the third value which was not distinct, it gets ignored, and that will not be collected here. This is just because of the distinct until changed operator. So this both debounce and distinct until changed can be used when you are performing any search functionality on your application, when you don't want when you don't want application to contact your server as soon as the user presses some values, or the user don't give any distinct values. So at the time you can use this debounce and distinct until change operator. This practical application will be seen in the upcoming codes. Start working on the practical application. So I have a app here which have product list and a search bar. So what we'll be doing is we'll search here and the result should be shown on the list here. So let's start working on the search bar here. So I have the main activity here, and here we have the text field where we have this on value changed. So we have assigned this value to the search query state dot value, which is which we are remembering of mutable state of text field. So in product view model, we want a text change listener, which will be a mutable state flow. Let's assign a blank value. The initial value will be a blank, and then from your UI component we have this view model dot text change listener, and we can assign the value to it. Dot text. So this view model will listen to the text change of this text field. Now to this text change listener, we can say that we want to collect the values that are emitted by the text field. So this this collect function is a suspend function. So we'll be using view model scope dot launch to start a coroutine, so that we can call the collector operator on the text change listener. So it's quite text change listener. So first we want the debounce operator, so that the network call doesn't takes place frequently. So we'll have, for now let's keep it 1000 milliseconds. So value will be emitted after 1000 milliseconds. Then we'll apply a distinct until changed operator here, so that it should give us distinct values, and then we can use the collect function operator here. Let's try to print that to say we'll put a log here. We have tag, and you can say that search query, and then ID, and we can just print, we can just like use this like that to get rid of the warnings. And then we can call this get products method, which we have which takes query as a parameter. So from here we just say get products, and then we can pass the string here, which is a query from the text field. So what will happen here is once the user start typing values in the text field, this view model text change listener will get those updated values here, and it will get here, this is listening to the UI changes of the text field, and we have put the debounce operator. So if any user types any values before the 1000 milliseconds, suppose I have put M, and before 1000 milliseconds I put some value A, so it will not emit. After 1000 seconds the A will be emitted here. And then we have put this distinct until change operator, which will give us distinct values. Suppose like if user have pressed ABC and he just delete the C and again put the C. So in that case a new network call will not take place here. So we'll check this by using the log here. So let's try to run the application. So here is our logcat. I'll just search for this search query here. So let's type MAC. So as you can see, we have got a search query here, Mac, and we have got the result MacBook Pro and all the MACs here. And let's try to delete C and put this C again here. So as you can see, again the log has not printed here Mac, because it was already we have already done a network call with this Mac. Because of this DistinktUntilChanged operator, it doesn't give us Mac again. Let's try to print let's try to delete C and put any other value. So there we go, we have printed MAD here and the results. Let's again try to delete D and put the D again to see if the logs are still there. So yes, no new logs are printed here. So yes, our search functionality is working fine. Now let's move to the most important part, the testing of the view model and our flow. So we have this template ready. We have this Kotlin test rule. You might know this if you have watched the previous videos, which I strongly recommend. We have this Kotlin test rule, then we have our view model, and then we have mocked the API helper here, which is products API helper, where we are doing the actual API calls. Then we have this test dispatcher provider. So we have initialized the test dispatcher provider and the mocks. So let's try to test this get products method that we have. So this will be called when there is any text change happens on the text field. So let's proceed with the unit test. We'll use the run test to get the test scope here, and then we need to mock the API helper. So we'll just say that every API helper dot get products, we are mocking this API helpers get product method, which gets called when get product is called for the view model. So for any parameter, we should return flow of, we have product response, and then we have this products as a parameter there. So let's say we have array list of products, and we'll just say we'll just pass a title here. Rest fields are optional, but to check we'll just pass a title here. So let's see the title is Mac. Then we'll just initialize the view model, products view model. We'll pass the mock of the API helper and the dispatcher provider here. Then we'll call the text change listener here. We as we are on the unit test, we cannot provide the value from the UI text field, so we'll just pass value from directly to this text change listener. Let's say we passed M, and then we can get the result here. We can get the result like view model dot product shared flow, which we have this, sorry, the product shared flow here, which emits the value here. Then we can say dot first, the first value that gets as a result. So let's assert that the value is correct or not. Let's say assert equals the first value, let's say result 0 dot title is the Mac that we have passed it here. So let's try to run this test case to see if the test gets passed. Like whenever there is a text change listener, we get a result as Mac. So yes, the test case passed. So what else we need to test? We need to test that when the value the user deletes some values, like there is m written on the UI and then user deletes that. So let's try to simulate it. We have just deleted the m here, so let's see what happens now. Let's say we again type it, the value m. So here what I am trying to do is a user has put the value m, then deleted the m, and then again put the m. So let's see how many calls happen. So we need to verify this. So let's say now as we have put 2 times m, so ideally there should be 2 calls if we don't use DistinctUntilChange. So but we have used DistinctUntilChanged, so only one API call should take place. So let's say exactly 1, and then let's say that API helpers dot get product method gets called only one time. So if our DistinctUntilChanged is working fine, the API helpers get product method should be called only once. So yes, the test case passed. Let's try to put a different value here. Let's say I say MA, and let's try to do that, run that application test case. So this also get passed, but ideally it should not get passed because MA is a different value and there should be 2 get products call. But what happen is we also have used the debounce operator. So debounce operator have wait for the 1000 millisecond, but MA took place before the 1000 milliseconds. That's why only a single call takes place. So again test case pass is okay here. So let's try to put a delay of 1000 milliseconds. Now this test case should fail because we are saying that it should run for exactly 1 time, but it should run for 2 times because MA is a new value here. Yes, so there we go. He is saying that 2 matching calls found, but needs at least 1. So yes, so if we say 2, then the test case should pass. So this way we have tested this DistinctUntilChange and Debounce, both the operators. So yes, the test case pass. So I hope you have learned something new today. Thank you.